the Roman general who betrayed his own army. Hannibal Barca's invasion of Italy is one of history's greatest military shocks. In 218 BC, Hannibal crossed the icy Alps with war elephants, catching Rome totally off guard. Rome's leader, Fabius Maximus, knew Hannibal was too clever for open battle, so he ordered his generals to avoid fighting and wear him down slowly. But General Gaius Flaminius wanted glory and hated Fabius's cowardly plan. He ignored orders and marched his entire army straight at Hannibal. What he didn't know? Hannibal lured him to Lake Trasimene, where fog hid thousands of Carthaginian ambushers waiting in the hills. Flaminius marched 30,000 men into the trap, and Hannibal's troops attacked from all sides. Over 15,000 Romans died that day, drowned or slaughtered. One man's ego ruined Rome's plan and let Hannibal roam Italy for years. Benedict Arnold, the man who tried to sell America. When people say traitor, they still think of Benedict Arnold. At first, Arnold was a hero of the American Revolution. He helped win the Battle of Saratoga, risking his life for independence. But Congress overlooked him. Rivals stole credit, and Arnold sank deep into debt. Feeling betrayed himself, he turned traitor. He secretly offered the British the key fortress of West Point in exchange for money and a high rank. Arnold even weakened the fort's defenses so the British could take it easily. But his contact, Major John Andre, got caught with the secret papers, and the plot fell apart. Arnold fled behind British lines just in time. He spent the rest of his life hated by both sides, rich but forever branded a traitor, the scientist who handed Stalin the bomb. Klaus Fuchs was a German scientist working in America's secret Manhattan Project. He helped build the world's first atomic bomb, but secretly he believed the Soviets deserved the same power too. He passed vital secrets and blueprints to Soviet agents, risking execution. His betrayal helped Stalin detonate a Soviet atomic bomb in 1949, years earlier than America expected. Fuchs didn't just leak a weapon, he triggered the Cold War's arms race, changing the balance of power forever. On the bodyguard who murdered a king. In ancient Macedonia, King Philip II was ready to conquer Persia. But at his daughter's wedding, surrounded by his closest nobles, he trusted the wrong man. His own bodyguard, Pausanias, hated him for ignoring an old insult and denying him justice. When the king walked through the cheering crowd, Pausanias stepped out and stabbed him straight through the ribs. Philip died instantly, and Pausanias was killed trying to escape. Some say Philip's wife Olympias, mother of Alexander, planned it all to help her son take the throne. Whatever the truth, Philip's death gave the world Alexander the Great, who conquered lands his father only dreamed of. How Spartans versus Persian army fought. In 480 BC, King Leonidas III of Sparta led 300 Spartan warriors to the narrow pass at Thermopylae, the Hot Gates, to stop a Persian army said to be 1 million strong, led by King Xerxes. Leonidas's Spartans were joined by around 7,000 other Greek allies, but it was the Spartans who held the front line, using their heavy bronze shields and spears to block wave after wave. For 2 days they slaughtered thousands of Persians in the tight pass, where Xerxes' massive numbers meant nothing, but a local Greek named Ephialtes betrayed them, revealing a hidden mountain path. Realizing they were surrounded, Leonidas dismissed most of the Greek allies, but he and his Spartans stayed behind to fight to the last man, alongside 700 Thespians who refused to abandon them. In their final stand, they fought until their spears broke, then swords, then bare hands. Their sacrifice bought Greece precious time to rally, and inspired future victories that turned the tide against Persia forever. The spy who saved England, Orserd. In World War II, a humble Polish courier named John Karski risked everything to smuggle secrets out of Nazi-occupied Poland. Disguised in stolen uniforms, he slipped through enemy lines dozens of times, carrying messages from the Polish resistance. He snuck into the Warsaw Ghetto and Nazi transit camps, witnessing horrors few outsiders ever saw. Karski then crossed Europe to tell the Allies what the Nazis were doing to the Jews. His bravery forced the world to hear the truth. He spent his life trying to warn the West when many chose not to listen. The French Foreign Legion at Cameroon. In 1863, during France's doomed invasion of Mexico, Captain Jean d'Anjou and 64 French Foreign Legionnaires were escorting a supply convoy when they were surrounded by 2,000 Mexican troops near the village of Camarón. With no chance of escape, they holed up in a walled hacienda and refused all demands to surrender. They fought all day under scorching sun, low on water and ammunition. Captain Danju, who wore a wooden hand after losing his real one in an earlier battle, led from the front until he was killed by a sniper. The last 5 surviving legionnaires fixed bayonets and charged out. They were captured, but only after the Mexicans agreed to let them keep their weapons and carry their wounded. Camarón became the Legion's most sacred legend, proof of their motto, march or die. Every year, legionnaires still honor Camarón as the ultimate example of never giving up, no matter the odds. The lone Norwegian who sank a battleship. During World War II, the Nazis occupied Norway and used the port of Oslo to keep their warships supplied. Norwegian resistance fighter Joachim Runneberg led a daring raid to sabotage heavy water plants, crippling Germany's atomic program. But another lone hero, Max Manus, specialized in sinking Nazi ships in Oslo harbor. Working with a tiny team, he planted limpet mines on the hulls of German vessels. He helped sink or damage dozens of Nazi ships, despite Gestapo manhunts, shootouts, and narrow escapes. After the war, Max Manus became a national hero, a reminder that one person's courage could bleed an empire. The Zulu king who shattered an army. In 1879, the British Empire invaded Zululand in South Africa, expecting an easy victory. But at Isandlwana, Zulu King Cetshwayo's warriors, armed mostly with spears and shields, surrounded a British column of over 1,800 men. Using brilliant tactics and discipline, the Zulu regiments overran the British lines. More than 2,300 British soldiers died, one of the worst defeats the British ever suffered from a native force. Cetshwayo's stand showed the world that empire did not guarantee victory. The slave who sparked a revolution. Toussaint Louverture was born enslaved in French-controlled Haiti. He taught himself to read and write, became a coachman, then led the largest slave uprising in history. He organized rebel slaves into a disciplined army that defeated French, Spanish, and British forces one by one. Under his leadership, Haiti declared independence and became the world's first black republic in 1804. Though Toussaint was betrayed and died in a French prison, his revolution inspired oppressed people worldwide to fight for freedom.